Hi, my name is Sam, and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about everybody's favorite thing that I probably do here. Marvel does Beavis and Butthead comics. Today we're going to be taking a look at number 4, number 5, and number 6. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead, break these bad boys open. Let's take a look at them. We got Beavis and Butthead number 4, ambushed by the American Amazons. There's some wrestling things that do go on in this book. If you guys are comic collectors, as you would know, there isn't very many wrestling related things out there. If you are a wrestling collector or somebody who's interested in wrestling comics or collects wrestling comics, this is a book that you probably need to add to your collection then if you already don't have it. We got our typical creation team on here. We got Mike Lackey, Rick Parker. This is a weird effect that they're doing here. It's just a picture, you know, they just stamped it on there. You see what I mean? There isn't a break, you know, like where the design is. So it kind of looks weird, but that's what they did. It's a choice for sure. Out of the 3 issues that we're going to be looking at today, this is probably the weaker one out of the 3. There are some pretty funny things that do happen in this book, and there's some pretty strong illustrations that do happen in it, because, you know, Rick Parker is a genius among geniuses when it comes to his drawing. But I just think the overall, you know, gags and whatnot in this book, they're not the strongest. You kind of look at them, and it's like, all right, I mean, read it and move on. Clowning on some Silver Surfer here. All right, now we're into the wrestling goodness. Mad Wrestling Mamas. Oh, she's got a wonky looking face. Look at that thing. Lord. She's a looker, huh? So yeah, they get thrown into the mud and put some pop tops on their head. They basically get into the women's division here. The old wrestling days. Territory days, I guess. But this was something that I thought was kind of crazy, even though Beavis and Butthead is more of an adult property, but still, you're talking about sexual harassment. You would think that it's more just, you know, fart and poop jokes. Obviously, they do allude to sexual themes in the cartoon, and they usually stay away from that kind of stuff in the comics. The comics are definitely a lot more kid-friendly. Not to say that there isn't edgy stuff going on in these. As you can see, it's like... This is the kind of things that they're teaching kids in these comics. An image that I always kind of laughed at, thought was pretty funny. This old lady Dom just going in on and on these guys. Then you got Beavis and Butthead in a male strip club. He's just swinging that thing away. But as always with these Beavis and Butthead books, we're more or less just kind of flipping through them. If I have anything to say about them, you know, I'll make a comment. We're doing these to show them off to you guys, to maybe start an interest in you collecting them. There isn't a lot of videos out there floating around on the internet where people are actually flipping through these things. Typically, you only see the first issue, the second issue. We're going to take a look at as many as I possibly can. I picked up a couple more of these later issues. We can keep these videos coming for you guys. All right, let's move on to number 5 then. Got number 5. This is probably the better issue out of the 3 when it comes to the comedy in it. Drawing is going to be more or less the same. We still got Rick Parker on this issue. We still got Mike Lackey on the story. Subject matter in this book is definitely a lot more, you know, kid-friendly, quote-unquote. I love the episode of Beavis and Butthead where he's like their sex ed teacher. And they, you know, gotta hold in there laughing the entire time. So it's classic. Good old War Machine. I love the lettering treatment that he gives. It's good stuff. It's kind of just giving a gag about how to prank people in movie theaters. Some good Tom Morgan action. This bit I thought was pretty funny. They were going to like a boxing gym, but these dudes are clearly like washed up, you know, like wrestlers from back in the territory days, brother. So they go in here and, you know, got our boy Billy Bob. He's Towel Boy. I didn't know that Marvel did Conehead comics. That's just weird. I mean, it doesn't really surprise me because it's back in the 90s, you know, they had to make a comic about everything. But Coneheads, that's just a weird one to me, you know? So we're still going on with the theme of just old tough guys back in locker rooms. Got like the cauliflower ears and stuff. Good attention to detail. That's something that Rick Parker does that I love about his drawing. He has a very underground R. Crumb sort of look, especially in his faces. They just look, you know, dirty. You know what I mean? It's all the veins in that in that dude's leg. So ridiculous. Like I said, in terms of the actual gags and stuff, this is probably the funnier of the three. Well, I love this movie. I just love the Shadow in general, especially like those old radio serials. This movie is pretty underrated, and I think that if you haven't seen this, you guys should definitely take a look at it. Okay, well, let's move on to number 6 then. Alright, so this is going to be the Summer Fun issue number 6. Again, just comparing out of the 3. Now that I'm looking at it, let's just take a look at this, because I love these corner boxes. They customize the corner boxes on these, like they actually get drawn on, they're not just pasted. So you guys can take a closer look at those. Now we're on these other ones. I love it when artists do that. It gives it its own, you know, personality. This comic is all wet. I think the drawings in this book and the coloring in this one is definitely the strongest. Subject matter not so much, but they're in like a water park here. And as you can see, just right off the rip, it's just super bright and colorful. Still got Rick Parker on here as the artist, Johnson and Marcel as the writers on this guy. So Lackey is gone now. You know, my thing always gets small when it's in the shower. And he's like, yo, my thing never gets small. Yeah, my thing never gets small either. These rides suck. They're making me dizzy. We haven't even been on one yet, Dillhole. But I can make you dizzy if I kick your ass. But yeah, like these blues and stuff that's in this book, that's what really catches my eye when I look at this always. All the water park stuff that goes on in this issue I really like. She kind of looks wonky to me in this entire issue. Her face just looks strange, like it's, you know what I mean? See, like drawn the same, and the art style doesn't go with the rest of the books. And I kind of noticed that with a lot of women that Rick Parker's drawing in previous issues. Like the art style just looks different on women, and I've noticed that. Classic. Something that I've talked about in the past. I love how people draw water, how they draw things that look underwater. So they kind of gave it like a greenish sage tint, and then the bubbles coming up there. Again, like Paul Chadwick, the dude that does concrete, I think he's the prime example of how to do underwater sequences. Just trying to get CPR from the hot lifeguard there. Some classic X-Men action there. One of the more fun things about these books, you know, they try to copy what's going on over at the original TV show, so they kind of, instead of clowning on music videos, they're clowning on comics. Seen some nasty feet. Again, just super strong imagery. You know, they're climbing up this super tall ladder, and just the basic river just kind of going off in the distance, just to kind of illustrate how high up they are. Again, just Rick Parker is insane. So don't sleep on the Beavis and Butthead books, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you are picking these things up. The worst Daredevil costume. It's absolutely terrible. I'm sorry, that red and black one is just bad. I like the yellow and red Daredevil costume, and then just your standard, you know, red costume. But I'm a big yellow Daredevil guy. Alice Cooper ads. Just gonna keep pointing out the lettering jobs that are done on this. Just insane stuff. This is cooler than Ozzy. And in classic fashion, they're just, instead of the previous issue, we're showing how to prank people in a movie theater. Now we're showing how to prank people at a beach, putting writing on people's backs, acting like you're flicking a booger on them, which A lot of booger jokes, because the previous one, they were showing how to, like, trick people and that you're fucking boogers on them in the movie theater. Now we're doing it, well, I guess this is not a booger, but acting like a seagull shit on someone. I would love to be able to read some of these fan mails that they send in, because I'm sure that they're pretty funny. They're printed really small. Some of it, you can't even read it. Good old Marvel Vision. Damn cards. Ill Communication, Beastie Boys. Another one of the things that I love about these Beavis and Butthead books are just the music ads that you get in them, which makes sense. You know, it's a music-related book. What's everybody's favorite Beastie Boys record? That first one is a banger, so it's hard to beat. Alright, so there we go. We got issues 4, 5, and 6. And as always, I like to rank up my videos, hauls, recommend which ones to pick up. Ultimately, out of these 3 issues, I would probably have to recommend, and it depends on where you guys land on this stuff. For this one, if you like wrestling, I would recommend to pick up this one. However, the drawings and the subject matter in it, the drawings are all the same pretty much across all these. It's all Rick Parker, but there isn't like, oh, that's a crazy ass drawing, you know what I mean? Like these other 2 issues. However, like I said, there isn't a lot of wrestling comics or wrestling related comics out there. So if you do collect wrestling things or are into wrestling, this is a good book to pick up. The runner-up for what I'd recommend, again, I love the coloring in this book, and I love the actual drawings in it. I think are the strongest out of the 2. So this would be the runner-up I would recommend to pick up. Number 5 is the one I would recommend to grab. Out of all of the 3 books that we've looked at, I think that this has the best gags in it. I think it has some of the stronger drawing in it. You get Thor, you get War Machine, you get some weird ads, you get quote-unquote like wrestling locker room related things in here. So I think it's a good, you know, mixed bag. Oh, this guy. Yeah, Al Simmons, this dude. Yeah, like I was saying, I think this is a good representation of everything that's good about the Beavis and Butthead comics you can get in this issue. So out of the 3, if you do come across these out in the wild, this is the one I'd recommend to pick up then. Alright, this was the second video for Marvel Does Beavis and Butthead comics. Leave a comment down below. Which one did you like the most? And then as well, are you going to be picking any of these up? What do you like about Beavis and Butthead? If you do want to interact with me at all, you got to do it here in the comments. As always, thanks for hanging out and talking comics. Hope you all have a good rest of your day. Thanks everyone. Peace.